member of an organization that is tabling a motion to change the constitution, you would be interested enough to attend and vote on such an important constitutional matter. So, but only 100 people turned up out of a membership of 350. And those people who turned up have the right to vote. And they voted out of the 20 people who stood for elections. We were voted. And so if you ask us whether we should have a rainbow connection and so on, it's really up to the members there to vote. And there were the minorities who stood for elections and they were not voted in.
And there were people who got as low as 8, below 10. And there were people who got as high as 82, and that was Lois based on her election speech. Right?
Yes.
She gave a speech about her involvement with social enterprising and all those things, and she got very high vote. And I got equally high vote, just one behind her. Because on account that I said I can do marketing publicity, and I want to raise the awareness of AWARE. Because Dana Lam herself had made a comment at the AGM that the number of calls made to the hotline seemed very, very small for an organization, for a women's organization. So I said, yes, not many people on the streets know what AWARE is all about. And if I can come in and help you raise the awareness of AWARE, I can contribute in that area. And I also talk about fundraising. Okay? I talk about fundraising. And I heard after the election that somebody said, oh, they all garnered from me because fundraising is very important. So,
and right at the start of the meeting, Constance herself lamented that there's no interest in the organization and AWARE needs to attract new blood.
Yes.
Brahma Mati herself, at one of the earlier AGMs, which are 205, said that, we need to have more new blood coming in, and she even advocated that the new blood be put on the EXCO straight away.
Yes.
And now that we are in, we seem to be seeing a totally different story. So we are, quite at a loss as to the sudden change.
Do you intend to challenge the proceedings today or legally?
I think the legal position is already made very clear. There's a legal opinion given by Raja and Tan. So that actually is the position that we believe is the correct position. And that position is that we need not step down because constitutionally, election of the executive committee and office bearers are done at the annual general meeting. They are not the subject of an EGM. Therefore, notwithstanding the no confidence vote, we can choose to stay. Okay? But basically, we have considered, and of course, they expected us to make a decision in 5 minutes, but we had to take some time to really think through, and basically we came to the conclusion that, for the sake of AWARE, we will step down.
What are the things you have to consider? You said it's something that you can decide in 5 minutes. So what are some of the things you have to consider?
Well, we all had our own convictions to stand for elections. And we also have our supporters.
We all came on a specific platform. Each one of us, for me, was education. It was so clear. Education and training, where I can contribute. So even if the new EXCO now as the one that is going on, if they should invite me back to advise on education and training, I'll be more than happy to do that.
In the Treasury area, during my short time there, I believe that the corporate governance, there's room for improvement. And also the accounting system is quite a dated system. As to whether there's any upgrades and so on, I have my doubts. But then again, they have decided that they don't require our expertise. So, and we don't want to polarize or to really, split AWARE
further.
So we decided to graciously step down.
so I don't know if this was addressed earlier on. One issue that was raised earlier on was that they felt, the new EXCO was inexperienced and did not understand civil society well enough. What are your thoughts on that? And idea of the corporate mindset versus the civil society?
It's not entirely true that the EXCO has got no community service. Maureen has served in the community before.
Yeah, so I've been 6 years.
Yes, done a lot.
6 years president of the Singapore Training Association.
I was part of AWARE before in the early 1990s with the Sexual Harassment Committee. So I'm not sure if their claims are accurate.
Yeah, and
I've spent 2 years doing counselling and support for women in prison aftercare. So I've definitely been involved in volunteer groups.
Like for myself, yes, I said that it's my first foray into community work. But I did not come in with the assumption that I'm going to be president, right? I came in to help in the areas that I feel I can contribute easily and comfortably, which is marketing and publicity. So I don't see how we're not equipped to run an EXCO. And of course, when we first came in, we were not going to assume the leadership position. It was supposed to be chaired by Claire Narzar as the president. So, under the circumstances, situation, that's where we are today.
One of my personal thoughts after this event is that AWARE is recognized as the women advocacy group in Singapore. As to whether, based on today's meeting, whether the AWARE's membership is an accurate representation of women in Singapore. That is something which I think I have certain thoughts about. I need to think through that. So that's something which.
To the men who were there?
No. What I meant is, if we look at the meeting, the people who turned out, and what was expressed, would the general opinion be reflected of women in Singapore in general? It calls to question the point that AWARE does provide feedback to the United Nations through the CEDAW vehicle to push for women's interests, women's rights. So AWARE is a very strong vehicle. Now, if I look at the meeting today, one thing which I would personally wonder about is, would the opinions be reflected in today's meeting? Is it reflected of the broad spectrum of women across Singapore society? I mean, Singapore has, if we assume that we have 2 million women, does the 3,000 members today in AWARE represent the views of the 2 million women?
Does it?
Well, in my personal opinion, if we base it on today's expression of thoughts, it may not be.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Thank you. This is all spent in carrying out the duties of the EXCO in organizing an EGM. And I don't think we have done, I'm sure we're very above board in those expenditures, given the circumstances surrounding the event in the last few days. I think we had to spend what was spent.
Okay. Would you stand for election in EXCO again?
Like I said earlier, give me some time to reflect on this. Yeah, thank you.